lost that love and feeling. Whoa, that love and feeling. You've lost that love and feeling, now it's gone, gone, gone. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Joel takes Clem to a moment where other kids peer pressured him into striking a bird with a hammer. He's rescued by Clem wearing the same outfit from her childhood photos, but he can't keep his memories of Clem's photos. But he can't keep his memories. Okay. You're trying hard not to show it, but baby, you know it. There it is.
I think I got the hang of it.
Out. Outfit from her childhood. Can't even imagine a beach covered in snow. Northern. Yeah, I get it. Photos. Pretty cool, though. But he can't keep his memories of Clem safe from Howard, and we watch them fall one by one. Watch them fall. Watch them fall one by one. Watch them fall one by one. In the moment he asked her out, the spine. In the moment he asked her out, Joel's anxiety drives him from the memory. God, I love this. This little bit of dialogue here. I am one compulsive saver. Control S every few seconds. Oh, you're in Florida. Well, of course, yeah. Tough to imagine snow, let alone snow on a beach. Thumbnail. Just kidding. Oh, boy. But you're married. No, not married. I remember that speech really well. I had you pegged, didn't I? There it is. Oh, that one's crushing.
Take you out or something.
You're married.
Right.
Not yet. Not married. No, I'm not married. No.
Look, man, I'm telling you right off the bat, I'm high maintenance, so I'm not gonna tiptoe around your marriage or whatever it is you got going there. If you want to be with me, you're with me.
Okay.
Too many guys think I'm a concept, or I complete them, or I'm gonna make them alive. But I'm just a fucked up girl who's looking for my own peace of mind. Don't assign me yours.
God, that one. I think she wants to keep the episode we're doing a surprise.
You guys think
We had to push it to next week, so didn't record yesterday.
too many
And at the moment he met her, too many guys. Oop, undo. Too many guys think I'm a concept art. By the way, is the audio working? The audio always stops working for some reason.
I'm a concept or
Yep, it's working. All right, good deal. I love her unwillingness to be his manic pixie dream girl. I did not watch her April Fool's joke. If you link it in the chat, I'll take a look. Asked her on. In the moment he asked her out,
too many guys think I'm a concept or I complete them or I'm gonna make them alive. I'm just a fucked up girl who's looking
Blue Stocking, hello, hello. Unbox Warehouse, hey, how you doing?
for my own peace of mind. Don't assign me yours.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
You guys think I'm a concept or I complete them or I'm gonna make them alive.
As the spotlight, the edge of the memory starts to close in over her head, and her unwillingness to be his manic pixie dream girl makes me very upset, in a good way.
Too many guys think I'm a concept or I complete them or I'm gonna make them alive. I'm just a fucked up girl who's looking for my own peace of mind. Don't assign me yours.
The spines of the books turning around, showing his memory going, is just agony. Michel Gondry blends his disappearance. I remember that speech really well. I had you pegged, didn't I? Crushing. Crushing. I use Premiere Pro also. I have a love-hate relationship with it. It's super solid. I started with, actually, the first time I ever edited anything, I was using Premiere 7, and the program cost $6,000 or $7,000. And then I switched to Final Cut 3, I want to say, and certified in Final Cut Studio. And then Apple went bananas and ruined Final Cut. And so I switched back to Adobe Premiere. And the thing is, the value of the software, what is it, $50 a month to get all of Adobe Studio is insane. So whether Premiere is weird or not, the fact that you can use After Effects and Photoshop with it is too hard to say no to. Emotion was never very good. The spines of the books turning around, showing his memory going, is just agony. Michel Gondry blends his disappearing memories together in such a haunting fashion, from the bedroom to the beach where they first met. Where's that shot? Do I edit for a living? Well, now I do. I do this for a living. So yes, but originally when I started doing this about 5 years ago, I hadn't edited anything in, I don't know, 10 years, and I started working on this again, or started working on the channel as a way of picking it up again. I've never, I mean, everyone has an instrument, right? And after much experimentation, I just have finally figured out that editing is mine. And once you give up, I think once you give up the need to play that instrument better than everyone else and just want to play it as well as you can, then that's when things kind of start clicking. And the amazing thing about doing YouTube content is there's just no other medium where when you start to follow someone, you can go to their channel, sort by old, and see the tree rings. I love that MKBHD has his original videos on his channel. And you can just sort by old and watch. He bought a HP laptop. There it is. And when he was a young kid, started reviewing every aspect of it, and that's how his channel started. Now he's probably the most famous tech reviewer on the channel. But I think, as long as your main competition is yourself and you're always trying to get better, then it's a healthy thing. That was a bit ranty. I apologize. There it is. I love that shot. From the bedroom to the beach. Blue stocking. It's coming along well. Actually, for having started editing yesterday, I got about 7 minutes cut. And there's an off chance if my energy holds, I might be able to finish tonight. Still, this one has been a bear. Writing it was frustrating and slow and annoying. And I think it was just kind of a perfect storm of a few things, not just the video itself. But I think there's some good stuff to it. It's not going to be perfect the way I want it to be. But it's time to move on. Good Lord, is it time to move on. Why you should watch Firefly and then on to Buffy. I have that need. I feel the more I edit, the longer it takes me. I'm speeding up, but then I think the key is always to challenge yourself to do things that you don't know how to do. I've been needing to take After Effects classes for a while. I don't have a particular interest in motion graphics, but in doing this, there is a certain necessary threshold of quality. And my titles are terrible, my thumbnails are terrible, and my editing is getting to the point where I'm now visually, almost to the point where I feel like I'm visually representing what I'm trying to, the emotion that I'm trying to share with people. You can always be getting better, and that's another part of my hierarchy of priorities. You definitely can look at my old crap videos. If you don't cringe looking at your old content, then you're not getting better. Exactly. I mean, there's channels where never crap on anyone for just doing work, because just doing the work is more than I guess a lot of people sit down and do. And I, for a decade, was like, I make videos, and hadn't made any videos. But you do stumble on channels from time to time where, there's 500 videos and they still don't have a mic or a light, or, you just want to be getting better, for sure. Nothing is ever perfect, but done is good. Done is good. Done is good. Done needs to be enough a lot of times. And letting it is something I'm getting better at. You should give animation a try. Yeah. I would have to come up with a context where I felt like it would be in aid of something I was trying to say. But, yeah. I made 200 videos in the last year and a half. Nicely done. I don't know what my count is. This kind of editing can be a little slow, but, there's, like we said, there's good enough. The finding good enough. Lines of the books turning around, showing his memory going, is just agony. Michel Gondry blends his disappearing memories together in such a haunting fashion, from the bedroom to the beach where they first met. Clem takes Joel to what she calls their house together. Joel's undo. Another thing I'm bad at is keyboard shortcuts. And that's, touch typing versus hunting and pecking. I'm definitely a Hunting and pecking editor.
Clementine. I haven't heard that one.
I've loved you for a very long time. We all thought we weren't going to come back from the war, but it's the real world. I couldn't. Can't walk, you crawl. You can't do that. Find someone to carry you. Don't know why that popped in my head. You have 273 videos unofficially. Yeah, streams don't count. Is the problem with that number? I'm sure I'm under a. I bet I'm under 100 for edited content. I thought, how cool. Be attracted to somebody's back. I rewatched this movie last night. Nice, Frozen Sea. Any getting people to watch this movie is time well spent, in my book. Oh, Flea. Did you paste it in and I missed it? I'm sorry. It should have popped on my screen saying that there was a link there. But I have to approve all links anyway, unless it's Jack, so. You can't paste in? So, Blue Stocking, you rewatched it? Nice. Maybe we should talk about this movie on Saturday. Clem takes Joel to watch. God, I love this movie. What's weird is I think I watched it 5-6 times for this review. And the first time through, I was very cold to it. I knew I was going to be resisting watching it because it definitely brings stuff up for me personally that I haven't thought about in a long time. But every time I watched it, I was like, oh, okay, oh, it's our house.
Nobody's coming here tonight, believe me. Come on, man. Water's fine. No.
I'm not sure why, Flea. I'm sorry, I didn't know it was auto filtering out.
Nobody's coming here tonight, believe me.
He wiped her to cover up his disloyalty, and she consented. Well, I mean, his wife knew about it, so I think it's implied that they had a falling out and then came back together, but that Mary couldn't get over it, and so thought about doing the procedure. But in that audio tape, it's clear that, I mean, I don't know. We're missing the context. He's kind of a douche, you know. And I think they set that up early on when Mark Ruffalo says, "Oh, I already tried that," and he says, "Oh, you tried going through the Seagate?" And he says, "Yeah, of course." And Howard looks at him for a minute, like offended. I think we're supposed to see him as sort of vain and prideful, despite that actor's just fatherly charisma and charm. He does such a wonderful job. Hold on, it's our house. I need that line. One sec, guys.
Whatever. So this is great. Now I can look for candles, matches, and liquor cabinet.
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
I think we should go.
There's no phone line. What?
I think we should go.
Why? It's our house.
There it is. It's our house, and the house collapsing is the end of their relationship.
Just for tonight.
Definitely appreciate it more with age, and damn, it's beautiful. It is gorgeous. It's so pretty. Not really sure which movie I find is the superior love story, Brokeback Mountain or Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I can't decide. I have actually never seen Brokeback Mountain, and I like everyone involved with that movie. It just kind of slipped my radar at the time. House together.
It's our house. Just for tonight.
But that you would put it up in competition with this movie certainly makes me interested. Oh, I'm on a tab if I can. I don't know how. Understood. There's more videos on Patreon than on YouTube, isn't there? No, Patreon. You're talking about for me? Not really. No, Patreon. I do. The Patreon members can request a reading, but I don't like to gatekeep content from subscribers, especially given how slow I go. So everything I do for Patreon, I try and make available to anyone who is subscribed to the channel. But the only thing that's the only thing that's exclusive at the moment is the audio commentary for the Buffy movie that I recorded with Jack and Moeller. And Jack, Jess, and I were talking about recording a commentary for this. One of the Patreon bonuses is supposed to be an audio commentary available once a month, but obviously my aim exceeds my grasp when it comes to deadlines quite a bit. So I was considering doing some reaction content that would be exclusive to that channel. So, you know, an entire episode with me talking about it as I watched, or, you know, the new Avengers trailer, stuff like that. There seemed to have been some interest when I brought that up, so still thinking about it. But this, I can't think about anything until I'm done with this review. Well, if it wasn't a cover up, they should have known that a wipe wouldn't erase a crush. I think that's part of the thing, right? Part of the message. You know, it's kind of the gravity of two people with chemistry. Oh yeah, and you can get videos that have been banned on YouTube on Patreon.
Just for tonight.
Nearly positive I saw the Buffy movie watch. We've watched it a couple of times. We watched it for... I think we watched it for Bad Decisions or Mediocre. And then we did the audio commentary. So yeah, I just don't like to, you know, to keep too much content separate. If people are interested in supporting this effort and what I'm doing, and they like the stuff, and they want to throw in on Patreon, cool. And then I'll try and do as much extra as possible. But whenever there's a choice between, you know, getting the Patreon, why is that happening? Getting the Patreon bonuses up to date versus keeping the channel on schedule. I would imagine that most people who are supporting me on Patreon would be interested in me keeping the channel on schedule.
Just for tonight.
Joel's anxiety drives him from the memory, and as David and Ruth Laskin, I love that there's nothing on the envelope because he didn't see that angle and so never made the memory. I want that shot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Save. So go. You said so go with such disdain, you know. Now I wish I'd stayed. I wish I'd stayed.
I wish I'd stayed.
Buffy movie wasn't a bad decision. So that was something else. You might be mixing it up with the Buffy unaired pilot. Maybe. If you had a choice, would you decide to forget what you don't like? No. You know, if anything, I wish that I had worked through certain things that I've been through, which may be videos at some point. I wish that I had worked through certain things earlier. I'm thinking about a video called What Seeing Red Means to Me. And, you know, later in life, I've had some insights for myself into, you know, when you've suffered a trauma, for a while, it's a little like waking up on fire, you know, where days after you wake up and there's only one thing you can think about, and it's not being on fire anymore, and not having this thing that has happened to you happen to you, and you feel naked everywhere you go, and that you're never going to be safe, and that nothing means anything anymore. Hobbies don't matter, and all of this. And then one day you get an hour where you don't think about the thing. And then you get a day, and then you get a week. And that feels like getting healthy. That feels like recovery, and it is, but it's only part of recovery. And as an adult, I've discovered, you know, there is still a lot of scorched earth that occurs after certain kinds of trauma. And, you know, for a long time, as you're sort of recovering from things, you're still making meaning. You're still making up stories about yourself and about the way life is supposed to work and relationships and all of this. You know, you can't turn that off. And most of those things are sort of influenced by this horrible thing you've been through and a desire to never go through it again. So they're biased. They're not really true. And then as an adult, you know, you find all these little things and you're like, oh, that's why I am this way, or that's why I think this way about male masculinity or other people or relationships or what may be. And I wish that I had done more of that work at a younger age, so that I could have understood myself earlier on. But I wouldn't, you know, I can't look at those events in my life that occurred the way they did and say that I wish that they hadn't happened, because, God, they're so integral to making me who I am. And I am probably happier today with my life and myself than I ever have been. So, part and parcel. There's nothing I would erase. He drives him from the memory, and as the house that stands for their relationship collapses all around them and water invades, Joel and Clem kiss goodbye. Meanwhile, that was a long answer. Sorry about that. What was the question again? Have you ever seen the 1998 film Last Night? There is nothing in the writing of this. There is something in the writing of this that reminds me of that. I have not. I'll put it on the list. Last Night. Aha! Well, this says theatrical release 2010, so that's not the movie you're talking about. There it is. Add to wish list. I'll take a look. as the house that stands for their relationship collapses all around them and water invades, Joel and... There we go. "13th Floor." I have not. Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, I've seen that movie before. That was right around the Matrix time, wasn't it? Yeah, yeah. Um, I remember I think I enjoyed the ideas a little bit more than the execution, if I remember correctly. Joseph Rusnak. Wow. Yes, but yes, I have seen that movie. Where was I? Interesting. I'll take a look. Stands for their relationship. And water invades. That's what we're looking for.
We have.
The pitter-patter of 2-year-old feet. There it is.
I wish you'd stayed.
I wish I'd.
Back to the ice metaphor. And the water underneath. Ship collapses all around them, and water invades. Joel and Clem kiss goodbye. Meanwhile, Mary Jane Watson admits she's in love with Howard. We are almost to the end of the summary, Great Googly Moogly. Aha. Mary Jane Watson admits she's in love with Howard. His wife catches them and reveals Mary Jane had an affair of theirs wiped from before. You can have him. You did.
Stupid crush! I swear I basically forced him into it.
Don't be a monster, Howard. Tell the girl. All around them, and water invades. Joel and Clem kiss goodbye. Meanwhile, Mary Jane Watson admits she's in love with Howard. His wife catches them and reveals Mary Jane had an affair of theirs wiped from before. MJ discovers her original recordings in which she actually had doubts about the whole thing and Oh, Howie, I don't know if we can do this. If I can do this. Razor save. It's like we're under a waterfall. Do I have a favorite genre of movie? Oh, wait, hold on. There we go.
Oh, Hallie, I can't do this.
I love that shot too. Man, the focus is so good. From before. MJ discovers her original recordings in which she actually had doubts about the whole thing.
Oh, Hallie, I can't.
Have people here ever been friends with someone that you thought would be a friend forever, but suddenly you start to drift off? Not because you wanted to, it just happened. Any advice? I've had that happen in relationships. You know, people grow apart. Unfortunately, yeah. No advice on that one. Sorry about the whole thing. And
Oh, Hallie, I can't do this.
decides to send a thing. And decides to. Movie or show? Not really a favorite genre of television show. I mean, TV is such a. There's not really. If you think about it, I don't know that there are that many genre television shows. There's a big center for, you know, drama, reality, all of that. There's actually, I think there's very few science fiction shows. There's no westerns. So genre in TV kind of applies a little bit less, doesn't it? But movies, it's probably science fiction, if I'm honest. And would we qualify the MCU as science fiction? Maybe, kind of, sort of. I don't know what you've qualified. Superheroes is like sci-fi fantasy. So. And decides to send everyone theirs. Oh, the plane. And them in the...
just a girl.
Anyway, okay, where were we? And decides to send everyone theirs. That's where we were. Boy. Must finish this review someday. Boom, 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 boom. Come on. Oh, yeah. I really like you, Mary Svevo. Who, Mark Ruffalo? You don't get his character? I think I appreciate the multiple perspectives on the way we love or the way we find affection for other people. I think that's sort of what he's there for. His friends from earlier represent the long term. I forgot to tell you, I was watching Buffy the other day, and Amy Adams made a random appearance that was weird. Yeah, she's in Family. She's Tara's cousin. Did he call Howard's wife? No, Howard's wife was suspicious, and so showed up. He actually, in the scene where Howard's wife is looking in through the window. Now, I have mixed feelings about that scene. So that's afterwards. There we go. So she was suspicious because Howard has cheated on her before, and here he is leaving in the middle of the night. And Mary kisses him, and she shows up in her nightgown. He had no idea she was coming. Now, here's the thing, right? So during this scene,
well, good morning, Mrs. Merswick.
they're kissing. Now, there was no saving Howard. She was there. She saw what there was to see. There was no, like, I don't think that's what that was about either. The way I always read that scene is, like, it's not good for anyone for her to just stand there and be tortured by that visual. If she goes in there, they have I don't know. It's a complicated little scene for being so simple. And she says thanks a lot because he honked, and it looks like he's trying to save Howard rather than her.
Thanks, dude. Thanks a lot.
But I think he kind of did the right thing in that scene. Like, let Howard know she's there. He's not saving Howard. It's just tough. And decides to send everyone theirs. And decides to send everyone theirs. It's a tough scene. So then I was confused by his complete non-reaction to Mary and Howard. Well, Mary asks him later. Mary was talking about Howard the whole time. Isn't it amazing what Howard gives to the world? Yeah. And she asks him, "You had no idea?" And he says, "Not really." She said, "And you never suspected?" And he said, "Once, maybe." And so when Howard shows up and he can kind of read the room, he decides to leave and decides to send everyone theirs. And this brings us to the first scene. But Mary's obviously pissed at him because she doesn't know who did the erasing. And for him to keep something like that from her and sleep with her is kind of gross and manipulative. But I think he's sincere. I think he's sincere. I don't know what I would have done in that situation. Just let Mrs. Mierzwiak stand there and be tortured by the visual, or, I don't know what you do. Boom. Brings us to the first scene again. And this brings us to the first scene, and Joel and Clem meeting for the... And Joel and Clem...
Let me get my toothbrush.
The interesting thing about the movie, too, is that it's romantic and sort of pragmatic. Romantic in the idea that two people who were sort of meant to fall in love or going to fall in love do again. And pragmatic in the sense of where a lot of relationships end up, and sort of two people may be compatible in a short-term way, but in a long-term way, very, very different. And this brings us to the first scene, and Joel and Clem meeting for the first time again. Clem goes to get her toothbrush, finds the recording of her Lacuna interview, and plays it in front of Joel.
Like I'm always pissy now. I don't like myself when I'm with him. I don't like myself anymore. I can't stand to even look at him.
That pathetic, wimpy, apologetic smile.
That sort of wounded puppy shit he does, you know.
Hey, Dean.
What are you doing?
He's not doing anything.
Bloom is certainly fucking off the rose at this point.
Are you screwing with me? Are you screwing with me?
No!
You are screwing with me. You are screwing with me.
Joel, I'm not.
You clearly are.
I wonder if they would have gotten back together if they hadn't erased each other. Interesting, right? Yeah, that's interesting. In Code Geass, where a certain character dies and she says to the other that no matter which lifetime, she will continue to fall in love with him over and over again. Yeah, I mean, it's not a completely new concept. The inevitability of certain relationships, I just love it here being paired with, well, the ending. And I'll get tired of you and feel trapped because that's what I do. Okay. That's so lovely to me. Recording of her Lacuna interview and plays it in front of Joel.
You are screwing with me.
Joel, I'm not. Joel.
You are screwing with me.
Joel, I'm not.
You clearly are.
She comes to his place later and hears him. Is it that they need the experience of being together, or that they keep falling in love? I think they're very compatible. And I mean, part of the whole... So, Mary's perspective throughout the movie is that ignorance is bliss. And the movie itself is a direct refutation of the idea. So... Well, there we go. She says, if you look at a kid, they're all sad and, or they're adults are just messes of sadness and kids are pure. And then we see Joel as a kid. He comes to his in this movie and he's anything but pure. She comes to his place later and hears him say the word later and hears. So I have a different theory. It's part of the analysis of the video, though. So, what do you do if you erase, then a year later find a book or pictures of something you forgot to throw out? There are many questions about the science fiction premise to this movie, that I kind of bypass by saying it's just not the point. The science fiction here is purely intended as an exploration of the way love and relationship works and all of that. And so, as dumb as the Lacunites can be and how certain aspects of this would just break down if we tried to apply it to, apply logic and reason to it, it would kind of be missing the point. I think what it has to say is fascinating and interesting. She comes to his place later and hears him say the worst thing he said to the previous her. Previous her. I feel like anything would have triggered a memory or confusion. They told everyone to get rid of any evidence they were together. I mean, the big thing are the cards. There's a lot of people in my life that would just outright ignore. You dumbass, you erased her? Just sack up. Be better. Learn, grow, process your grief. So it just wouldn't work. But, certain kinds of art are just intended to be viewed from one particular perspective. And I wouldn't say that that's a failing of this movie, that the science fiction is...
Where's the real Clementine? I mean, the whole thing with the hair.
It's just bullshit.
You want a drink or something?
Ah.
Sorry, I thought there were some more.
There it is.
The only way Clem thinks she can get people to like her is to fuck them. Or at least dangle the possibility of getting fucked in front of them. The only way Clem thinks she can get people to like her is to fuck them.
I don't do that. The reading I came up with for this whole thing is just how all of this is just a mess of Joel's insecurities. Including that line. this.
God, I'm a little confused. Because I don't do that.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry about all this. I'm gonna. God, I'm a little confused.
The word I would use to describe this movie as a whole would be sincerity. Yeah, I think that's apt. It's more a thought experiment than sci-fi. What if you could erase memories? Absolutely. There was a part in my original essay that I removed. Is the whole thing is very Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone was. I mean, they didn't try. A lot of Twilight Zone episodes were not like, oh, how would the universe work, and is this sound, and could this be consistent? It was more a simple, sci-fi premise for the purposes of exploring a theme, and this is definitely one of those kinds of films. You might say that, an emotional truth, rather than one of lore. Here's him say the worst thing he said to the previous her.
The only way Clem thinks she can get people to like her is to fuck them.
I'm gonna. God, I'm a little confused.
And finally, for the first time in their story, Joel reaches out. There we go.
Wait.
I want you to wait just for a while. Okay. Undo that and go there. I didn't know that worked that way. Let's try that again. So delete that, highlight those, highlight those, wait, highlight those, and paste. Heh! What do you know about that? And finally, for the first time in their story, Joel reaches out.
Wait.
To that. Stop. Moment. It's out.
Wait.
But let's come back to that in a moment.
What?
This movie shows the bad side of life, but also how utterly beautiful it can be. Yeah, I agree. I would agree with that. But let's come back to that in a moment. Okay, I need to use the restroom. I'm going to put on the hold music. Rawr. All right, this is just from A River Runs Through It by Norman MacLean. Help, he said, is giving part of yourself to somebody who comes to accept it willingly. and needs it badly. So it is, he said, using an old homiletic transition, that we can seldom help anybody. Either we don't know what part to give, or maybe we don't like to give any part of ourselves. Then, more often than not, the part that is needed is not wanted. And even more often, we do not have the part that is needed. For some time after my brother's death, my father struggled for more to hold on to. "Are you sure you've told me everything about his death?" he asked. I said, "Everything." "It's not much, is it?" "No," I replied. "But you can love completely without complete understanding." "That I have known and preached," my father said. Then he asked, "After you've finished your true story sometime, why don't you make up a story and the people to go with it? Only then will you understand what happened and why. It is those we live with and love and should know who elude us." Now nearly all those I loved and did not understand when I was young are dead, but I still reach out to them. Of course, now I'm too old to be much of a fisherman, and now of course I usually fish the big waters alone, although some friends think I shouldn't. Like many fly fishermen in western Montana, where the summer days are almost Arctic in length, I often do not start fishing until the cool of the evening. Then in the Arctic half-life of the canyon, all existence fades to a being with my soul, and memories, and the sounds of the big Blackfoot River, and a 4-count rhythm, and the hope that a fish will rise. Eventually, all things merge into one, and a river runs through it. The river was cut by the world's great flood and runs over rocks from the basement of time. On some of the rocks are timeless raindrops. Under the rocks are the words, and some of the words are theirs. I am haunted by waters.
I just couldn't. My whole life has been about being a cop. If I'm not part of the force, it's like nothing I do means anything.
It doesn't
Doesn't what?
mean anything. In the greater scheme, in the big picture, nothing we do matters. There's no grand plan, no big win.
You seem kinda chipper about that.
Well, I guess I kinda worked it out. If there's no great glorious end to all this, if nothing we do matters, all that matters is what we do. Because that's all there is, what we do now, today. I fought for so long, for redemption, for reward, and finally just to beat the other guy, but I never got it.
And now you do.
Not all of it. All I want to do is help. I want to help because I don't think people should suffer as they do. Because if there is no bigger meaning, then the smallest act of kindness is the greatest thing in the world.
Yikes. Sounds like you had an epiphany.
I keep saying that, but nobody's listening.
Well, I'm pretty much convinced, since I'm alive to be convinced.
You know, Kate, you don't have to be a cop to be...
I'm okay. Anyway, I'm not headed towards another pillathon. I'm very grateful. I never thought you'd come for me, but I got cut a huge break, and I believe... I don't know what I believe, but I have faith. I think maybe we're not alone in this.
Why is that?
Because I never invited you in.
Good Night, Moon by Margaret Wise Brown. In the great green room, there was a telephone. Sorry about that. So I forgot this week's hangout. Are we watching Gingerbread or skipping it? We are skipping Gingerbread. It's the Zeppo and Helpless. Okay. Back to it. Done about 4 minutes today. This edit's going fast. Let's come back to that in a moment. It's not a perfect movie. Yeah, for skipping Gingerbread. Agreed. Other than that one scene with Angel and Buffy in the park, which completes the philosophical trilogy of The Way She Ends and Gingerbread. Gingerbread's not very good. It's not a perfect movie. The Lacuna employees are annoying dum-dums. Wake Up in a Coma's good. None of those really get me interested in watching the movie or watching that episode on rewatches. Yeah, it has moments. Every episode has moments. We acknowledge that. But you've got Amends, The Wish, Helpless, and the Zeppo around it. Just for context. The Lacuna employees are annoying dum-dums. Sheila Rosenberg is both of my parents. Well, that's fair. If I had a way into that episode, I'm sure I would enjoy it more. Oh, there we go.
It did work.
I had someone mad at me because I didn't like the Angel episode She. I mean, there are... I'm not comparing those two, by the way. She is not good. But there's always someone who can find a connection to the material, I think. I wonder what her connection was to that. It's a birthmark! Back. There it is. It's not a perfect movie. The Lacuna employees are annoying dum-dums. Too much scrutiny raises questions about how... Scrutiny? Just trying to envision scrutiny. Questions about how Joel's character has an arc. Scrutiny.
To make people feel like crap.
Actually, that's just not a very dynamic shot. Let's use the one of him running down the hallway. There we go. I can hear a baby crying. 12 minutes. Too much scrutiny raises questions about how Joel's character has an arc, and raises many questions about the science fiction premise.
What's up?
I love Clementine, and she's amazing.
You may have bought together.
Where is the first... It's weird editing something I don't know as well as... we provide that possibility. Okay.
He'll be handling your case tonight.
Great. A map of your brain.
Okay, let's get started. If we want to get this procedure underway tonight, we have some work to do.
Sorry about
I
that.
want you to react to these objects, Mr. Barish, if you will.
Here it comes. Although, there we go.
Target healthy readouts.
That's the shot I was looking for.
Hey, Patrick. Oil.
I'm not wiping. There we go. All right. And rate. I wonder if the experimental world of Jim Carrey right now is more surreal than this movie. Yeah. Arc, and raises many questions about the science fiction premise. The cards Lacuna sends telling... Come on now. People never to talk to a friend about a relationship are insane. Every episode has something. And the thing is, I like Reptile Boy and Beer Bad and Bad Eggs. So, if someone likes gingerbread, cool. What the hell's the line? are insane. Insane cards. Got it. Oh, and Go Fish, yeah. I never thought beer bad was bad. Okay, Buffy is right. I agree. It's simple. The episode is simple. Deliberately so. But to me, that's not a strike against it. Yeah, so Go Fish has Xander in the banana hammock and Cordy's declaration. Every episode has something. Even she has the dance sequence in the opening. I keep forgetting the line. Hold on. About a relationship are in... Yeah, that's right, the cards. This is make-believe, right? This doesn't actually exist. There it is. I agree. It's about Joel, who's an adult, not Mama Carrie's kid. There we go.
What is it? I don't.
Some place that does a thing. The cards Lacuna sends telling people never to talk to a friend about a relationship are insane. I can think of a dozen people in my own life who would immediately ignore that rule to chastise me for wiping something out. But I want to have a baby.
I suppose so.
Oh, come on, hard drive. You're doing well.
Invaluable.
In? There we go. Is that it? That's the one. Full. Yay! No, I can feel you guys withdraw when I go vamp. But yes, that whole episode is a little anti-therapy. I can think of a dozen people in my own life who would immediately ignore that rule to chastise me for wiping something out. But to focus on those things would be to miss the point. Ah, the eyeballs. Focus. Thumbnail. It did work. I couldn't move, though.
I'm in...
There we go.
Well, that's working like. It's working like gangbusters.
Something out. But to focus on those things would be to miss the point. To miss the Save. Point. Some art is only intended to be viewed from a particular perspective. I'm looking for the reverse shot into the chair. Although him running up the street would be good, some art is only intended to be viewed from a particular perspective. That's the one. Particular perspective. Are we the dining dead? I love that line. Be to miss the point. Some art is only intended to be viewed from a particular perspective. And whenever Joel and Clem are together, the movie is magic.
As I could about the procedure.
Literal magic. Although, I can't unsee the giant rubber hand he's laying on.
Nice.
I just had a vision in my head of the montage of Riley flying away and into the woods and cutting to "You're Gonna Teach Me" and the Riley sex face. There we go, giant rubber hand. I love being bathed in the sink.
I love being bathed in the sink. Such a feeling of security.
Actually, I think I prefer the rain shot. Row, row, row your boat. Row your boat. This is kind of warped. There we go. That's magic. It's working. Whenever Joel and Clementine are together, the movie is magic. point. Some art is only intended to be viewed from a particular perspective. And whenever Joel and Clem are together, the movie is magic. Charlie Kaufman, the screenwriter, has said he puts an emphasis on creating things that have a completely different experience the second time you watch it. I don't care to show being John Malkovich or any of the others. So, yeah, actually, we'll go here. Hard drive! There you go. All I had to do was whine. If I had known it was that easy. I wish I'd mentioned the birds, but that's okay. Charlie Kaufman, the screenwriter, has said he puts an emphasis on creating things that have a completely different experience the second time you watch it. The second time you watch it. Charlie Kaufman, the screenwriter, has said he puts an emphasis on creating things that have a completely different experience the second time you watch it. Eternal Sunshine lends itself to rewatches, but not because there was a twist to be worked out with... Excuse me. Rewatches. Yeah. So I'm going away, Clem. I'm erasing you and I'm happy.
Very good.
That's the shot I want. Please, hard drive, thank you.
We'll dispose of these mementos when we're done here. That way you won't be confused later by their unexplainable presence in your home.
Ah, there we go. Patrick? Yeah.
Patrick.
Why are there so many wires?
That line makes me hate him. I don't know why. Why are there so many wires makes me hate him. It's a good line, then, for that reason. But holy crap, I want to punch Frodo in the face.
Does that help?
There we go.
How are you today, Mr. Beck?
Time you watch it. Eternal Sunshine lends itself to rewatches, but not because there was a twist to be worked out with clues we could have caught along the way, but twist that could have been worked out with clues we got along the way. My name is Wally. Oh, there's people coming out of your butt. Well, we can use that. Didn't use much of the exterior world in the video. There were lots of clues, but I honestly don't think the movie could be worked out without having seen it once. And that's kind of the difference I'm trying to get at is it's not like a mystery, you know, and then sort of going back through and, oh, I mean, that exists, but you have to have seen the movie once in order to go back and see the sort of stuff that's layered throughout. I don't think that's the reason for the rewatch the second time you watch it. Eternal Sunshine lends itself to rewatches, but not because there was a twist to be worked out with clues we could have caught along the way, but because the story means something completely different the second time through. If you Yeah, I'm not saying that that layer isn't there. I'm just saying that it's not the reason for the rewatch.
But you
Right
will.
now I can't.
But you
I didn't
will.
say there weren't clues layered throughout. I said it's not because of that. And maybe you figured out the whole twist before on your first viewing. I did not. Watch it. Eternal Sunshine lends itself to rewatches, but not because there was a twist to be worked out with clues we could have caught along the way, but because the story means something completely different the second time through. If you put the movie in order, it is a completely different film. Oh, we can do this. So, through. If you put So let's do a 3-up. If you put the movie in order, it is a completely different film. So double click, position, scale. Okay, and now we go back to here, and then position, scale, save. Put the movie in order. So the my language is not particularly clear there. It is what it is. That's the one. So this is the earliest. I mean, technically him being a little boy is the earliest memory, but that's not the relevant aspect of the main story. So, and then the middle would be the breakup? What do we think? I mean, we could just go middle of the movie. I think it's the blanket sequence. Yeah, we'll go with that.
When I was a kid, I thought I was. Can't believe I'm crying already.
That scene. So this layer should be on top because it's going to reveal the other two. And then we go to here. Boop. And And we need to keyframe the other one. So position scale. Position scale. And position scale. It's kind of, actually, this was a mistake. So we don't need that position scale. That's fine. Okay, so at this point, the top layer should be there. And then so what can we get away from it with here? Yes, of course, math. 33. And then effect controls. Might need more shots, actually, to make the point that I'm trying to make, but we shall see. 33. Come on now. 33. Why did that keyframe? Come on. And we can call this relationship order. Through. If you put the movie in order, it is a completely different film. But come on, hard drive. You're killing me here. Play. If you put the movie in order, it is a completely different film. But the structure of the story, ending first. So I think we need his face there. Yeah, we do. Need a couple more shots. Okay. Wouldn't it be better to use a shot with her and her red hair? Maybe that should be the truth. Sorry, I'm maybe. I mean, I'll do it one way and we can kind of see. So we need the opening shot because that's kind of the orienting shot in the messed up order of the story. That one. 1, 2, 5. So top, middle. This is the blanket sequence, and so this shot should be here. Oh, that hard drive is gonna be the death of me. I think I'm gonna have to edit the episode guides off of a different drive. This is too painful. It's not even 4K footage. It's 1080. What's the throughput on that? That drives 40 megs a second. Should not be this slow. So we want to add one more shot. So, excuse me. Effect controls. Double click. Just to kind of size this one up, we're going to go 30, not 333, 33. And then it would go right there. Maybe we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, so what's this one? This one is... So it's after this part. So she goes from red to orange. There's red. So that's before the blanket sequence. It's funny, the timeline is... Oh, the bookstore. Duh. That's momentous. The house is important. Maybe we should do the house instead of them getting out of the car. That's the one I want. Red hair. Oh, undo. I'm a terrible editor. Open this. What are we at? 248? No, that's... yeah, the steps. The steps. That's a good one. Because of the green hair. Well, that's the shot I want. Thank you, hard drive. I know. Although that memory is in his head, so that's not the best. All memories are in his head, technically, but he's making that one up on the fly, so we want to back up a little bit. That's the one. We'll go there. 1, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So, in the pancake, this one is the end, which makes no sense to have it there, but it is what it is. That's the middle? What? So this one goes there, and this one actually goes here. Okay. So, proper layout here. These are going to be tiny if... let's see. So, sorry guys, like, what I'm trying to do in my head, I guess, is using the part of my brain that allows me to form complete sentences. So that's hideous, but we're just trying to get the general layout. Oh, and we want to fix that one. So let's hide that layer temporarily. And slip. I thought, how cool. I'm interested in somebody's back. I don't know, Joel. Is it cool? It's a little weird. But the structure of the story... Why? Come on. There we go. And then you just took it. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I can go any smaller than that. So let's see. Could go diagonal. But there's 5 of them. So oh, that one's hidden. Come on. If we do this, and I need one more. So, I mean, the breakup would make sense to have. So, undo. Yeah, so we need the breakup. So double click. Dark Willow, when will this video be out? Unfortunately, the answer is when it's done. I'm hoping tonight it's going to be done, and so it'll be up tomorrow. It's likely I'll have to do a little bit of editing tomorrow. But even so, I need to be done with this one, so I'm hoping tomorrow. Breakup. Yes. I want to have a baby. Gotta love red arrows. Very on brand. Agreed. This is gonna be a cluster for a few minutes until I get the layout proper. This was the last night I saw you. Just wanted to say congrats on your remaster video, which I noticed got a lot of views. Thank you. I appreciate it. A little unnerving, but fun. There's the breakup. Okay. We could just include this sequence. There. And her one leg.
Let me drive you home.
Get out of my face, faggot!
That's more distracting than that, but I never saw it the first time I went through the movie. Relationship order. Okay. Out. Undo. Out. So bottom. Are these still in any kind of order? They are. So we're going reverse top to bottom, and I double click that. There we go. So effect controls. This should be 33. Like that. I mean, only we have to make it not suck, but Put the movie in order, it is a completely different film. Yes, and now none of those keyframes work. So, top layer is... that one's fine. And then we need to remove the keyframes elsewhere. No. No, I know that one doesn't have any. This one might. It does. So, remove, 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 remove. This should be 33. Why did that keyframe? Ah, because they're on. Turn them off. 33. And then drop it into place. The relationship be stripped away, revealing the shining core underneath. Okay, so shining core underneath. That's awful, Ian. Save. Premiere. I really want to render this. I don't want proxy. Link selections. Make subsequence. Force render yellow. Does not have a rendered preview file that will render right before the playhead reaches them, which it's not going to do because the hard drive's too damn slow. If you're running, may not be smooth enough. See you on Saturday. Cheers. Thanks for hanging out. This is definitely something I need to know how to do. Sorry guys, this is a technical little thing that I absolutely need to know how to do. Work. Premiere. Turn off work area bar. Timeline panel menu. Gotcha. Work area bar. So wait, but that is off. Audio, rectified waveforms, got it. Let's try that again. So work area bar. More. No, that's not what I want. Render entire work area. Oh! Okay, but how do I actually control the... Cancel. Markers. Points. Premiere. You can set up markers in your sequence to be the work area. When working in your sequence, it's the top bar of the window with frame time number indicators. Say what? So that just marks in for the whole sequence. That's not what we want. Undo. For heaven's sake. There's the work. Okay, so we'll just do this. Jeez. Mara sequence render work area. Ridiculous. Okay. Really? Thankfully, I am a compulsive saver. We shall give it a minute, though. Yeah. Premiere. I did save. No work lost. But because the story means something completely different the second time through. If you put the movie in order, it is a completely different film, but the structure of the story, ending first, relation completely different film. Okay. So it's one file. Man, this hard drive's killing me. There we go. yeah, Gary, definitely need to watch this movie. There is a warning in the opening of this video that says I'm going to spoil everything, and there's a lot in the movie to spoil, so please go and watch the movie. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do this by guesswork, just looking at the... this is good, though, because I don't want to be dealing with this crap when I'm doing the episode guides again. So, this shows me that there is definitely something I need to fix about my workflow before I get back to the episode grind. And I don't do movie reviews very much. Why is that keyframed? No. This will delete existing keyframes. Yes, thank you. Get rid of the scale keyframes as well. Yes, thank you. Okay, so, boom, boom, boom. That one. Put the movie in order. It is a completely different film, but the structure of the story. So, to put the movie in order, it's a different film. But now we're going to razor everything, and then I'm going to have the clips rearrange themselves to the film structure. Okay, so just saved. Razor, 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 razor. Now, but the structure of the story, ending first, relationship played in reverse, back. Undo, 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 undo. Of course, I could just have clips and a montage and all of this. I don't have to do it this way. It doesn't have to be this difficult. Why am I doing this to myself? Because I love it. 1, 2, 3. That one. There's a little Leslie Knope in all of us. Okay. Visually, if I'm not going to be able to fix this once I razor everything. So... that one's a little high. Right? Maybe. Yeah, that was a little high, so that's right about there. Man, I wish Premiere had guides the way Photoshop does. I will tell you, but you're not really supposed to do this kind of thing in Premiere. You're supposed to do it in After Effects. And since I'm not very good with After Effects, we're doing it in Premiere. So, leave me alone. Why don't everyone being so antagonistic? Razor, 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 razor. Apparently talking to the voices in my head again. So, but the structure of the story, ending first, relationship played in reverse, back to ending. Okay, so that's how they can all rearrange. So, that one's gonna go there. This is nuts. So here's what we're going to do. I need a guide before I start moving everything. So we screenshot the layout before I break it. Save. Call this guide. Now I go and get the guide. Buffy the Vampire's there. Desktop. we go. Grab the guide. Put it. And we put that on bottom. All right. So, first one is this. That's now... Oh, that one stays. Fine. That one stays. Second one. That one now moves to there. So, effect controls, position, keyframe, position, keyframe. Go to the end. Now we make that one. There are many easier ways to do this. That's okay. Okay, and that guide is useless. That's fine. Next is the breakup. Breakup now goes second. So, keyframes for position. Position. Over 1. All right, go to the end. And safely. Gonna get rid of the guide. It's not helpful. It's confusing me. Breakup now second. Next is the blanket sequence, which does go third. That one. Position. Undo. This one goes fourth. And then them meeting for the first time. Position keyframe. Position keyframe. Something's wrong. Something is messed up. The structure of the car sequence should not have... Oh, these all go. Yeah. Get rid of those. Boop. Car. Back one. What's missing? Oh, they meet for the first time. There it is. Okay. I think that'll work. So now we're going to have to just eyeball it. Easy. First try. But the structure of the story, ending first, relationship... But the structure... Redo. Put that there. Razor. And now with this one, we need to turn on position. Back one. Keyframe. And but the structure of the story, ending first, relationship played in reverse back to ending, is the fuel that makes Eternal Sunshine function. Watching the layers of grout over Joel's memory of the relationship be stripped away, revealing the shining core underneath, forces us to consider memory. And okay. Completely different film, but the structure of the story and the film. Razor, and this is I guess we have to move this out here so that I can do this. There we go. Undo. Story order. Okay. And there we go. There we go. And then I'll actually bother to render that later. So the work area bar was a bust. Fine. Just listen to it. True. If you put the movie in order, it is a completely different film. But the structure of the story, ending first, relationship played in reverse back to ending, is the fuel that makes Eternal Sunshine function. Watching the layers of ground. Watch. Okay. True. If you put the movie in order, it is a completely different film. But the structure of the story, ending first, relationship played in reverse. Eternal Sunshine function. Watching the layers of grout over Joel's memory of the relationship. Grout over Joel. Sorry, that was so dull. All right. I appear to have lost anyone. It's just me talking to myself, like normal. Function. Watching the layers of grout over Joel's memory of the relationship. Okay. Back to normal editing. Jeez, that was not worth it. Oh, hi, Boris. I was getting lonely there for a minute. I bored everyone out of the room with the keyframe stuff. It's okay. So, I wonder if there's a better way to phrase this. Back to ending is the fuel that makes Eternal Sunshine function. Watching the layers of grout over Joel's memory of the relationship be stripped away, revealing the shining core underneath, forces us. That's what we want. So we're gonna get rid of that shining core line that I don't care for. Click, click, click. Story ending first. Relationship played in reverse. Back to ending. Forces us to consider memory. Razor, razor. Oh, dude, I would be doing all the web surfing. This has got to be so boring. That's why they're named the way they are. First, relationship played in reverse. Back to ending forces us to consider memory and the stories we keep about our own relationships. Boop. Wow, that's so much stronger than the reusing. Like, I like the grout sort of metaphor of what's going on, but I've already used that elsewhere. Man, that's punchier. Stories we keep about our own relationships. I want Joel in his room. Pick. Actually, the two of them looking bummed out would be good. I really like your hair. Alright, I'm not doing another big keyframe-a-thon. Where's the drink? You want a drink? Whiskey, if you got it. There it is.
Where's more?
The only way Clem thinks she can get people to like her is to fuck them.
Boom. We keep about our own relationships. One of the minor details I think makes the time switch so effective and unnoticed on the first run through is I don't really know if that's relevant. It's the dent in Joel's car and the big deal he made about it in the first scene. Though we're back in the past, it feels purely linear. Gondry uses who cares? Tighten things up. Gondry uses as many practical effects as possible, applying digital around the edges to enhance the digital practical effects as possible. That one. That's the one.
I didn't mean it, right?
Apparently she ducked behind a trap door for that shot. Relationships. Gondry uses as many practical effects as possible, applying digital around the edges to enhance the unreality inside Joel's mind. For That's the one. Digital around the edges to enhance the unreality inside Joel's mind. For instance, the street shot of Joel, unable to catch up to Clementine, and Patrick.
By morning, you'll be gone!
Now all the tide's in reverse. Soon as he crosses that line. Okay. I didn't want to nest that sequence. Boop. Come on. What happened? Edit. Undo. Undo. Ah! Yes, of course. I do that all the time. Dupe it and then edit into the wrong sequence. Reality.
Perfect!
Ending with this piece of shit story. Inside Joel's mind. For instance, the street shot of Joel, unable to catch up to Clementine, and Patrick not having a front to his head, because Joel never made that memory. That's the one. Patrick. Inside Joel's mind. For instance, the street shot of Joel, unable to catch up to Clementine, and Patrick not having a front to his head, because Joel never made that memory, were both accomplished by editing the clip to a flipped version of itself and using That's sort of unclear, which is fine. But how do we show it? Slight pulse or flipping over his shoulder. In fact, not legally for science. So, both accomplished by editing the clip to a flipped version of itself, and you Oy vey. Well, that's part of the fun. Uh, so razor boop. So this one we want to do. Is there just a flip effect? Let's see. Flip. Horizontal flip. Thank you. And then video effects, video transitions flip over. So we scoot that out to there. Let's see what this looks like. Sequence. Gondry uses as many the clip to a flipped version of itself and using a computer to paint out the edges with a light pole or a It's going to be confusing. Pole or a morph. Okay, do we have the arrow? Arrow. Pointer. Hey Etienne, how you doing? It's a very quiet edit stream. Boris has been keeping me company. Good. This edit has slowed down a little bit. I'm trying to pick it back up again. I was working like gangbusters before. There we go. But I had to do keyframe things. That's always a mistake. But let's see. Yesterday I did 8 minutes of the video, which included editing all the audio. Today I've done another 5, I think. That's not bad. And I'm far from quitting. But I definitely scared everyone off with sitting here doing keyframe stuff. It's fine. It had to happen. Except for Boris. I appreciate the company, Boris. Distance and softness. I just think it's interesting. I just think the effects of this movie are interesting and part of the spell that it weaves. And so yes, keyframes are dull. Editing's probably boring to watch already. Then you add keyframes. They light pole morph. Once George. Back. So that's probably fine. We're going to need position keyframes and undo this one. So it is initially right. It would be so simple if I could drag you. Thank you. No, I don't want keyframes. Yeah, okay. No keyframes for position. Did some for channel as well. Can understand the pain of it. Not as much as you, though. Well. Boop, 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 boop. No. Joel Run. I just think the effects in this movie are really interesting. I never get over that giddy, childlike, it's animating feeling. Wee, look! I did a thing with a thing. Okay, so once more with feeling. Boop, 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 boop. Morph. Once Joel runs past the light pole, all of the store names are reversed, and Clem keeps names are. Okay, now we need. I did a bit of keyframing for an editing class at one point. It's super fun. I mean, I think the results are super fun. It's just tedious. And again, you're not supposed to do this kind of thing in Premiere. If you want to do any kind of animating, you do it in After Effects. Okay. But I'm terrible with After Effects, so. Oh, undo. Someday when I have time, we'll do this. I intend on taking a bunch of online classes to be better at editing. Or a morph. Once Joel runs past... Whoa, that's bad. Can we go full quality temporarily on this, please? Hard drive. Yeah, that's very wrong. Come on. Ah! Yay, keyframes are so fun. Runs names are reversed. Got it. We did it! Are reversed. and Clem keeps flipping over Patrick's shoulder. That probably has a lot of digital. Clem keeps flipping over Patrick's shoulder. In fact, yeah, that is a lot of digital. Not going to use that one. Cut. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of my point, is Sonic Sonic, hi! I scared everyone off with keyframes, and now people are back. Yeah, so I mean, part of the thing I think makes the spell of the movie work so well are that the effects are very subdued. And so that's why I'm actually bothering to explain one of them, is because this one, for instance, which is very effective, he can't catch up to her, and so you think about, he doesn't have the memory of fighting with her further. She's gone. So sort of seeing how it worked, you can see all the Tide boxes are now reversed, because all they did was film both sides of the street twice and then, you know, flip a shot to make it match. It's not the most elegant explanation of the thing itself, but I think with the arrows, it really kind of runs past. So the light pole is fake, because this frame right there is where they matched up those two shots. So on the left side, you have a reversed shot, and on the right side, you have the normal one, and that's how they achieved that effect of him running back and forth. And the same store on both sides of the street. The light poles are reversed, and I think I just thought that was interesting, because I mean, the effects in the movie are important, but they're so not the main focus, and I think that's part of that is just the big emphasis on practicality. That was me justifying all this, spending all that time keyframing. Funny. There we go. Store names are reversed. Yeah, and no, I didn't notice the reversed store names either. So, and we're going to remove the Clem keeps flipping over Patrick's shoulder. No, that actually looks like a green screen to me. But the backgrounds, I don't know exactly how they did that one. The background's it's the same principle with the footage of Patrick's head, but I think there's more digital, and since I don't know where the digital is, we're removing that from the review. First. In fact, unbelievably for a science fiction film, the most distracting for a science fiction film. So we just need a general sci-fi shot. Apparently there might be some fans miffed about spoilers for Endgame. I guess we'll have to wait and see if there's some Last Jedi shenanigans to come. I don't want to know a thing. I bought tickets for Saturday and for Sunday. 6 hours of Avengers this weekend. Don't mind if I do. Speaking of, is Jack awake yet? In fact, unbelievably for a science fiction film, there's a good effect. Patrick.
If I like this.
I think I might try this then.
We're almost done now.
Journal.
In fact, unbelievably for a science fiction film, the most distracting computer effect in the movie was one I never noticed until researching this review. Yeah, and that would be Clem with one leg. And that is not the car coming down, but Clem losing a leg. We'll just put an arrow there. No need for the repeating description. Let's go look at Clem's one leg. Clem with one what now? I'll show you in just a sec. And in your little wormy brain. Once you see it, Sonic, though. There we go. So, 2 legs.
Clem, let me drive you home.
Get out of my face, faggot!
1 leg. And we'll bring back Mr. Arrow just for emphasis. Yeah, it's super distracting, except that you never notice it. It's got to be something. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. It's shocking now when you hear someone drop it, especially in that way. Right there. Position. So creepy. Never noticed it. Oh, like I'm gonna, yeah. I kind of want the arrow to have the same focus as the shot itself. Gaussian, let's get fancy. Ooh, undo. Did I move that? I didn't. Okay, good. So, blurriness. So, keyframe starting to come into focus right there. Keyframe. And focused. Pointless, but who cares? The computer effect in the movie was one I never noticed until researching this review. But the emphasis... That's the next level for arrows. Next season of the guide, the arrows have to more seamlessly blend and hide into the background of the shots. Most distracting computer effect in the movie was one I never noticed until researching this review. But the emphasis on... Okay, anyway, back to... Let's see if we can get a groove going here. Where are we? 13 and a half minutes. I need to... whatever. Close that, close that. Where's my script? There it is. Are you messing with me? I'm clear. You clearly are. Kirok, hello. How you doing? One of the minor details I think oh, we removed that, so let's edit that out so the subtitles work, the captions. It's a quiet night in the live stream, Kirok. We're back in the past. It's purely many practical effects, light pole, yada yada. In fact, unbelievably, but the emphasis on practicality achieves a sort of elegant minimalism to the visuals. Okay. I'm good. I'm better. Every edit that I get done of this video makes me feel better and better. Emphasis on practicality. I want to have a baby. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want. Super excited to get back to the normal channel groove. It's always funny when I end with something like Restless or, you know, graduation day. I'm always like, ready for a break. But the emphasis... And then the break goes on too long. And I'm like, I can't wait to get back. And just on practicality achieves a sort of elegant minimalism. But the emphasis on practicality... I missed that audio edit. Delete, delete. Someone of mine telling me what's up here. BT Griffith, hello, hi. I am editing my review for Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and I find it easier to stay focused and get work done when I do it on live stream. So, sometimes we get 8 people in a live stream, sometimes we get 30. Just tends to vary based on what I'm actually editing. But that's the long and the short of it. This is Adobe Premiere. This is me cutting stuff. The effect in the movie was one I never noticed until researching this review. Oh, why is the volume on full on that one? The most distracting computer effect in the movie was one I never noticed until researching this review. But the emphasis on practicality, I kind of like not talking about the one leg. Achieves a sort of elegant minimalism to the visuals that help. Elegant minimalism. Oh, that's a good one. That's very perfect. Will you cover any of the deleted scenes? No, the version of the film I got to watch didn't actually include the deleted scenes. What are they? I would have covered them if I had known about them and they were, relevant to the review. But the emphasis... I actually don't have the Blu-ray for this one. I have the Google Play version, the iTunes version, and then a copy to edit. On practicality achieves a sort of elegant minimalism to the visuals that helps keep the focus on Joel's journey without losing the science fiction premise. Well, the biggest thing is that several of them actually feature Naomi. Interesting. Fell for you when they did you, and now you guys are dating. Give me that giant-ass cookie.
Doing you, and now he's introduced himself like he doesn't even know you, and you guys are dating.
That sequence is adorable. There's a scene where they... Ooh, there's a scene where they actually reveal Howard convinced Mary to get an abortion after their affair. Good Lord. Kind of glad they left some of that stuff out, especially the Naomi stuff specifically, because, I mean, I just like the focus on the two of them. And the movie feels very lean, the way they cut it to me. But I haven't seen the scenes, so I can't say for certain. Reality achieves a sort of elegant minimalism to the visuals that helps keep the focus on Joel's journey without losing the science fiction premise. And I love the different visual tricks used to emphasize the state of Joel's mind. But if I needed any convincing that Howard was more of a jerk, yeah. I mean, and I love, too, that bit where Howard says, oh, you tried going in through the Seagate? And looks obviously annoyed that, he's like, oh, yeah, of course. When I looked at the deleted scenes, I feel they fundamentally changed the film. It's better off without them. That's also one of the reasons why I don't go and look at deleted scenes very often, is because I don't want to see a scene that could then get stuck in my head when watching the original movie. There was a great tweet a while back, and I don't remember who it was or the specifics of it, but he said something to the effect of, you know, after you've had a souffle, you don't ask the cook to bring out the eggshells for you to suck on them. You know, there's something about deleted scenes that have that same kind of, I'm good. There's a reason why some of them were left out. It's interesting. It's like, especially if you're into filmmaking or that side of things. But I've seen deleted scenes before. I was like, ugh, I wish I hadn't watched that. A science fiction premise. And I love the different visual tricks used to emphasize the state of Joel's mind. Mary's name card appearing in the moment Joel would have looked for it. We're about to hit 14 minutes. Oh, and I have wine. I forgot about that. Cheers, everyone. Happy Tuesday. What day is this? Man, self-employment's weird. That's why everyone should have a Boris to tell them what day it is. Visual states to I'm looking for moment Joel would have looked for it. Ah, yes, Mary's Favo. I love this little... It's such a... You know... The decision to include this kind of thing is so... I don't have a pen. There's a pen right there.
No, I'm sorry, that offer expired after the new year.
And...
Yeah,
We're gonna cut that.
Joel. Barry.
Oh, yeah, we're doing a Bad Decision stream at the end of next month. The disappearing book spines. Oh, I told you that already. And visual tricks used to emphasize the state of Joel's mind. The disappearing book spines. I'm all for cutting. Less of me jibber-jabbering. You're no help at all. It's that scene right there. Naomi is just one of those tiny details I was fascinated by. The mysterious, nice woman Joel completely abandons overnight for Clementine. I think she's a bit like Rosalind, though. You know, from that Romeo and Juliet perspective, it's like it's an aspect of his character more than something we need to see.
Some I thought you might like. I've left you.
You can have him.
You did.
You did.
Please update. Thank you. Yeah, I mean that is a tough balance that the movie needs to strike. I mean, anytime all of these moments are very, very human, but from, yeah, you did was a good moment. All of these moments are very, very human, but you know, they need to be balanced because you need the characters to be likable. So while, like, you know, them saying sort of terrible things to each other and the fights and all of that, I get. If you overdo it, you just run the risk of the audience not being able to empathize and hating the main characters. Even Clementine dropping the big F-bomb.
Take you out or something.
The disappearing book spines. The movie is a miracle of editing, using matched action to cut from memory to memory. Well, that's actually the shot we need. That's the one. We'll do that in just a second. And the kid with the hand up is another good one. That's the one. Out. The movie is a miracle of editing, using matched action to cut from memory to memory. Gondry has Jim Carrey fall out of one shot. Nothing wrong with that. I will let you know that this. I'm already past the point where everything is spoilers. So, it's on Netflix. That's all I'm going to say. But you might not, if you haven't seen it and you have any interest in seeing it, you might not want to watch the rest of this stream. I won't take it personally, though I will miss you. Okay, let's just find the exact point. Right there. Mark. So. The premiere for this should be interesting because there is a plea for people to go and watch it. And if people show up to the premiere who haven't seen it, I'll be curious if a bunch of people drop off. Not a big Jim Carrey fan, though. I did like Man on the Moon. This is one of those performances like Man on the Moon. Very serious, very straight-laced. I'm not a big Jim Carrey comedy fan. Gondry has Jim Carrey fall out of one shot and into another. And into another. And memory to memory. Gondry has Jim Carrey fall out of one shot and into another. And then there is his intimate camera. I mean, Man on the Moon was very art house. This is very art house. This is sort of definitively art house. But I think it's very accessible art house. There is his intimate camera, moving in and out of focus along with Joel's memory. She was just a girl.
More. Ruth.
Humiliation, I think.
Okay.
Bye, Joel.
I love you.
Meet me in Wanda. Moving in and out of focus along with Joel's memory. Their last kiss on the beach is gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Moving in and out of focus.
Actually, let's do this. Let's back this up. I am, however, looking forward to this weekend's rewatch, and if I have time, the Patreon meeting continuation of the episode, guys. Yeah, I am looking forward to it as well. Zeppo and Helpless are both really good. Moving in and out of focus along with Joel's memory. Their last kiss on the beach is gorgeous. And the blanket sequence has been burned on my mind's eye for 15 years. In fact, but that's also one of the reasons why I'm really excited to get through this edit. Because I know what is on the other side of it. And there were many times in the past couple of weeks where I was like, am I stuck forever? Am I going to be on this review forever?
I'm crying already.
Boop. And the blanket sequence has been burned on my mind's eye for 15 years. In fact, that scene has one of the most beautiful examples of the movie's elegant minimalism. So we'll go back. So, what is it? Copyright dance.
Yeah. Tangerine.
Tangerine. In fact, that scene has one of the most beautiful examples of the movie's elegant minimalism in Clem's ugly doll. In order to get this shot, they poked the doll's cheek and let it pop out again. That's it. Such an effective...
From her, I would magically change too.
So awesome.
Girl doll who I call Clem.
Also, Russell, it's not just Jim Carrey in this. Kate Winslet is in this, and she's awesome. Just a suggestion. I don't like to preach. In Clem's ugly doll. In order to get this shot, they poked the doll's cheek and let it pop out again. That's it. Such a simple thing, but combined with Winslet's voiceover and the soundtrack, it's a moment of beautiful melancholy. This...
Sometimes I think people don't understand.
Well, that's one Kate Winslet. Certainly. That's it. Such a simple thing, but combined with Winslet's voiceover and the soundtrack, it's a moment of beautiful melancholy. The story could have been incredibly baffling were it not for a few tricks used to orient us in time and space. That's the one. For me, one of her other super memorable performances was in The Reader with Ray Fiennes. That one has stuck with me as well. Track, it's a moment of beautiful melancholy. The story could have been incredibly baffling were it not for a few tricks used to orient us in time and space. Spotlights indicate we're outside the boundaries of one of Joel's written memories. Sorry if I came off kind of nutso. Oh, yes. I know where we're start with that. That's...
You can't be pretty.
Yeah, that was the one with Idris Elba. Don't remember the name of it.
Please let me keep this memory.
Yeah. And the brightness coincides with Joel's desperation to hold on to Clem. When this is it, Joel. Oh, I missed a line I have to put back in. The mountain between us, yes. That's actually, I feel like that's wrong, so we're going to cut that. When he has finally... Yeah, we're going to cut that. On to Clem. When he... Did we crash? Almost. Memories. When he... Well, this would be a good palate cleanser from Game of Thrones. Yeah, I don't like this observation either. Scene together is at night. Memory. The bounds of one of Joel's memories. Spotlights indicate we're outside the boundaries of one of Joel's written memories. Another trick for orienting us in the story's timeline is Clem's hair color. Cool. There we go. Timeline is Clem's hair color. Cool. Undo. Okay, I should take a quick break. What are we at? 3 hours? Just feeling a little gassed. Need to stretch. Cool colors when she's not with Joel, blue and green. And yep. Shadowman. It's a long edit.
This is it, Joel.
It's gonna be gone soon. What do we do? Enjoy it. Timeline is Clem's hair color. Cool colors when she's not with Joel, blue and green, and warm colors when they're together. Clem happens together.
No.
Alright, I'll get up to 15, and I'm going to take a quick break. Colors when she's not with Joel, blue and green, and warm colors when they're together. Clem happens to list the names of the different hair colors when she and Joel meet for the first time for the second time. And I think I've given up on the blank list as well. Generally speaking, I think I'm running out of gas with 20 plus episode seasons because there's so much formula and so much artificial inflation. Just another blacklister. Just another one. Whole episode without any development except for the cliffhanger. That's where
That's why you might not recognize me. It's called Blue Ruin.
Right.
Color.
Snappy name,
Snappy
huh?
name, huh?
I like it.
Anyway, this company makes a whole line of colors with equally snappy names. Red Menace, Yellow Fever, Green Revolution.
I've just not been able to get into binging new shows in general, not necessarily a 22 episode problem, I would say. I mean, maybe. I'm just speaking for me. Together, Clem happens to list the names of the different hair colors when she and Joel meet for the first time for the second time, and they all could function as a description of that period of their relationship. Green their relationship. Green. Anyways, got a jet, folks. Ian, good night. Rewatch is Friday. Patreon hangout is Saturday. The times and time zones are listed on Patreon. Relationship. Green Revolution for the change. I think your name is magical. Change that was about to happen when they first met. Agent Orange for their relationship dying on the vine, and Blue.
That's a win.
3 o'clock.
I kinda, sorta wrecked your car.
To happen when they first met. Agent Orange for their relationship dying on the vine, and Blue Ruin for their lives post-breakup. This guy, she's there with this really young guy.
Adult, who's an adult.
Come on.
Who's an adult.
Excuse me? Can I help you find something, sir?
And that's why she recognizes him on the train. The vine, and Blue Ruin for their lives post-breakup. Blue Ruin is defined as complete and utter ruin. Desolation. Also,
Yeah, sure.
Drink up, young man.
also gin.
Drink up, young man.
The first reference to the term might be from a poem by Lord Byron. All right, quick break. I will be right back for anyone who cares to hang in here with me. Still have some gas in the tank, and I want to get as much editing done as possible. What are we at anyway? Up to 23 minutes. Yeah, there's a gap right there. Yeah. It's coming along. Anyway, I'll be right back. In the great green room, there was a telephone, and a red balloon, and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs, and 2 little kittens in a pair of mittens, and a little toy house, and a young mouse, and a comb, and a brush, and a bowl full of mush, and a quiet old lady who was whispering, "Hush." Good night, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light and the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Good night, kittens, and good night, mittens. Good night, clocks, and good night, socks. Good night, little house, and good night, mouse. Good night, comb, and good night, brush. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady, whispering hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. And good night, noises everywhere. This is Henry's speech on St. Crispin's Day. What's he that wishes so? My cousin, Westmoreland? No, my fair cousin. If we are marked to die, we are enough to do our country loss. And if to live, the fewer men, the greater share of honor. God's will, I pray thee, wish not one man more. By Jove, I am not covetous for gold, nor care I who doth feed upon my cost. It yearns me not if men my garments wear, such outward things dwell not in my desires. But if it be a sin to covet honor, I am the most offending soul alive. No, faith, my cause, wish not a man from England. God's peace, I would not lose so great an honor as one man more, methinks would share from me for the best hope I have. I do not wish one more. Rather proclaim it, Westmoreland, through my host, that he which hath no stomach to this fight, let him depart. His passport shall be made, and crowns for convoy put into his purse. We would not die in that man's company that fears his fellowship to die with us. This day is called the Feast of Crispian. He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand a tiptoe when this day is named, and rouse him at the name of Crispian. He that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbors, and say, Tomorrow is St. Crispian. Then will he strip his sleeve, and show his scars, and say, These wounds I had on Crispin's day. Old men forget, yet all shall be forgot, but he'll remember, with advantages, what feats he did that day. Then shall our names, familiar in his mouth as household words, Harry the King, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Crispin Crispian shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world, but we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, while any speak that fought with us upon St. Crispin's Day. This is an excerpt from Ulysses by Alfred Lord Tennyson. There lies the port, the vessel puffs her sail. There gloom the dark broad seas. My mariners, souls that have toiled and wrought and thought with me, that ever with a frolic welcome took the thunder and the sunshine and opposed free hearts, free foreheads. You and I are old. Old age hath yet his honor and his toil. Death closes all, but something ere the end, some work of noble note may yet be done, not unbecoming men that strove with gods. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. The long day wanes, the slow moon climbs, the deep moans round with many voices. Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world. Push off and sitting well in order smite the sounding furrows. For my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars until I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew. Though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not now that strength which in the old days moved heaven and earth, that which we are. One equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Okay. Let's see how much we can get done. If I had started earlier today, is what it is.
Young man.
The first reference to the term might be from a poem by Lord Byron, and it explains. I wonder what she does for a living.
No, food poisoning, I think.
It's goddamn freezing on this beach. Come on, talk.
Did you see that Laura Donnelly was cast in Joss's new show? I did. I was toying with the idea of doing a news video on the channel for stuff like that from time to time.
February. Really?
Strictly stuff that's relevant to the channel or things that I care about. Which is really what the channel is anyway, and the only reason it works, but yeah, I was thinking it might be kind of fun to talk about details like that in the run-up.
It's just tiny little rocks.
When there's something to say, of course. That's 4, 5, 6. I'm very curious what it is, and boy, since it's on HBO, I hope it's not pandery. I would be very surprised if, you know, the show suffered from some of the, you know, HBO's kinds of things that I'd be surprised if Whedon did something like that, but who knows? Oh, ooh, water. Just do a Twitter post or something. No better excuse to social media things. Maybe. I don't know. A periodic channel news video for talking about news outside of the channel might be kind of fun. By Lord. Not actually going to do it anytime soon, but it was a thought. Lord Byron. And it explains why Joel and Clem met on the beach. Roll on, deep and dark blue ocean. Roll. 10,000 fleets sweep over thee in vain. Man marks the earth with ruin. Man marks the earth with ruin. The first reference to the term might be from a poem by Lord Byron, and it explains why Joel and Clem met on the beach. Roll on, deep and dark blue ocean, roll. 10,000 fleets sweep over thee in vain. Man marks the earth with ruin, but his control stops with the shore.
Your heart
stops with the shore. First reference to the term might be from a poem by Lord Byron, and it explains why Joel and Clem met on the beach. Clem met on the beach. Roll on, deep and dark blue ocean, roll. 10,000 fleets sweep over thee in vain. Man marks in vain. Man marks the earth with No, damn it. Come on. Ruin, but his control stops with the shore. Okay. Joel and Clem met on the beach. Roll on, deep and dark blue ocean. Roll. 10,000 fleets sweep over thee in vain. Man marks the earth with ruin, but his control stops with the shore. They're with the shore. Ruin, but his control stops with the shore. Poem by Lord Byron, and it explains why. And it might explain, so we have to cut that. And it explains why Joel and Clem met on the beach. By Lord Byron. Roll on. Dag nabbit. Roll on. There we go. Save. Byron. Roll on, deep and dark blue ocean. Roll on, deep and dark blue ocean. Roll. 10,000 fleets sweep over thee in vain. Man marks the earth with ruin, but his control stops with the shore. Their opening honeymoon on ice gives us such a lovely symbol for the relationship. Osiris the emphatic. Swoop and then across.
Where?
Right there.
Their opening honeymoon on ice gives us such a lovely with the shore. Their opening honeymoon on ice gives us such a lovely symbol for the relationship, informing both of their characters as it does. Clem's insistence on moving forward and Joel's fear that the ice may break. And throughout, the motif of water repeats several times.
Brilliant, Joel.
May break. And throughout, the motif of water repeats several times. And throughout, the motif of water repeats several times. When it rains inside their home, when Alright, I'm gonna get to 16 minutes and stop. Repeats several times when it rains and when it rains inside their home, when Clem disappears and Joel is drowning without her. Hey, Kay. Yep. We're at nearly 16 minutes of 22 for this review.
Such a feeling of security.
I've never seen you happier, baby Joel.
I'm actually about to wrap up. Between the two streams today, I've been going 5 hours, 6 hours. Yeah, 12:18. Yeah, 10:18. I'm close to the end. One more push tomorrow, and this one will go up probably tomorrow afternoon. Times when it rains inside their home, when Clem disappears and Joel is drowning without her, and when the ocean impedes and destroys the other symbol for their relationship. Covered some good ground. Getting there. Definitely just pushing now. And this actually will be a good stopping point because the essay or the analysis portion, I don't know, the perspective portion is still kind of remaining. The good parts, I would say. There's been a few things. I don't want to grind out the parts that I want to be the best parts of the video, so. But the summary is done. Without her, and when the ocean... Okay. Drowning without her, and when the ocean impedes and destroys the other symbol for their relationship, their beach home. But I think to really wrap our minds around the story, it's...
There's a stalker book.
Gotta read that. Don't... That's... No, Joel. Come on. Beach home. But I think to really wrap our minds around the story, it's important to understand that the movie is not about their relationship. Not really. course.
Racing in your home.
If... Come on, hard drive. There we go.
Come on.
I would magically change too. Jolie, don't ever leave me.
Home. But I think to really wrap our minds around the story, it's important to understand. It's important to understand that the movie is not about their relationship. Not really. It's about Joel and his perspective on their relationship. After all, most of the movie is from inside his own head. Save. Okay, we're at 16 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and stop there. There will be one more edit push tomorrow, and this one should be done. So anyone left around, hanging out, I appreciate it. Yeah, more stuff soon. Just tired and don't want to grind out what I want the heavy-hitting stuff to be. So thank you, everyone. I'll see you soon.